Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mark Goldbridge. That's football. Massive day in the transfer window. Lots going on. I'm really quite surprised. I mean, I'm going to start off Irving Lozano to Chelsea. PSV are going to Doha for some, I don't know whether they're playing games or it's just warm weather training or not, but Irving Lozano won't join up with them because of private reasons. Big indication that Chelsea have made a move to take him there. And I mean, I've always said Hazard's overrated, and they're already trying to get Pulisic and Lozano in because he's so shit. I mean, jokes apart, I mean, Hazard is going to leave Chelsea in the summer as far as I'm concerned. Everything I've heard, I thought he was going to go last year, but it's looking pretty likely. But I think they overplayed for Pulisic. I do think I rate Pulisic. I'm not going to lie and say he's a bad player because I really wanted Fabinho to come to Manchester United, and he went to Liverpool. And I did say, look, as much as I'm not a Liverpool fan, I'm a big fan of Pulisic and of Fabinho. A big fan of Pulisic as well. Although he's not had the best season, but Lozano, Lozano will hurt if he goes to Chelsea because Lozano's a player I've mentioned probably 3 years ago when he was at playing in the Mexican League, and I said this lad. If you follow world football, and I don't follow the Mexican League, but I keep an eye on, the Brazilian transfer market, Mexico and things like that. And he was, people were talking about it being the next George Best. I mean, people always say somebody's the next Ronaldo, but I don't know whether he's on that level, but he's a very, very good player, a very, very good player. He's doing good things at PSV. Of course, people will say, well, Memphis did good things at PSV. But Lozano, I think if you saw him in the World Cup, he's definitely got the ability to go to the next level. Like Lee Newman says, Chelsea are making moves, and they always have been good in the transfer market. People think that Chelsea are good in the transfer market because of the Mourinho days. They've always been good in the transfer market, even like back to Ranieri, Hullet, Vialli being managers. They've always been very good at transfers, and yet again, first week of the transfer window, whether they get Lozano done or not, it's a symbolic move. And I mean, look, I suppose I've got to look at it from a United point of view and bring in Man City and Liverpool because we are on That's Football and say, why are they not looking at Lozano, Pulisic? I think Liverpool were interested in Pulisic, but if you know Chelsea, yes, they've got. We are taking a break from building Harry Potter, Richard Dixon. We're doing very well, actually. I have to show you a picture of that. But it's. I'll put it up on Instagram. But Pulisic, the thing about Chelsea are if Hazard goes, their wing options are pretty poor. Willian is not perceived very well by Chelsea fans. Pedro is okay. Hazard leaves, who've they got? So signing Lozano and Pulisic sounds like, oh, bloody hell, they're buying up all the best young wingers, but they actually probably need to do that as well. And on top of that, it's a very clever move from Chelsea because Pulisic will allow them to become very, very popular in America, which they already are. And Lozano will make them very popular in Mexico. So building your fan base, very, very clever move. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed if it comes off. I would love to see Lozano at United. I think Chicharito in the Mexican support was fantastic, but I think Lozano's on another level. And they're talking 35 million quid. I would hope that Manchester United will try and get muscle in on that deal because United desperately need a right-sided player, and Lozano would certainly be somebody who can play there. He can play off the left. I think he'd be brilliant at Manchester United, and I think he's a good signing for Chelsea. He's not at Chelsea yet. There's a long, big rumour mill that he will be going to Chelsea. But we'll come back to that. There's a lot of things going on at the moment. De Ligt and De Jong at Ajax are two really young talents that are being touted around Europe as significant signings. Again, United fans interested, City fans, Liverpool fans. I think everybody would like them. But I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I don't even know what your name is, but you say Man United aren't going to buy anybody in January. If you listen to Solskjaer, that's not what he says. But there has been some interesting deals today, actually. But let's talk about De Jong. Frankie De Jong to PSG. Rabiot to Barcelona is the sort of European transfer news at the moment. I saw something yesterday that PSG are going to put in significant bids for De Jong and De Ligt from Ajax and take them both there. I mean, this is the world we live in, isn't it? It's the oil PSG Man City money who just go in and spend massive money to get decent players. And I don't really think I want either of those players at United anyway. I don't know what Liverpool or Chelsea or City fans think. I don't really think that they're the sort of player that I want at United at the moment. We've got some good talent Going back to Lozano, should United sign Lozano? Should United have signed Pulisic? Well, we can all say yes, but we can all look at our own clubs and say, well, where do they fit in? Like it or not, United have got Martial, Rashford, Sanchez, Lingard, all who can play on the wing. And then they've got Mata. So they've got 5 internationals there. And then you're going to go and buy somebody else. The problem with United is, yeah, we do need a right winger, but we're top heavy on Deadwood, and I'm not saying that Mata's Deadwood or Lingard's Deadwood or Sanchez is Deadwood, but we have got a lot of players to play in those positions. The question is whether they're good enough or not. Nathaniel Klein's gone to Bournemouth. You're right. Lozano is not confirmed, as Football Skills and Goals says, no, but there's a lot of big rumour going around about him going to Chelsea. He has took some time out from the PSV tour for a few days, and Chelsea get business done. When I see things linked to Chelsea, I think the worst. And what a good bit of business that would be. About £40 million, Richard Dixon. Nathaniel Klein's gone to Bournemouth on loan from Liverpool. Obviously can't get a game now because of Trent Alexander-Arnold. Solanke's gone from Liverpool to Bournemouth for 20 million quid, 21 years old. Not really been able to get many chances. It could be a good move for Bournemouth, that. What else is going on? But yeah, look. There will be transfers I suppose when you look at the top teams, I don't expect Man City to do any business because they're getting all their big players back now. I don't expect Liverpool to do any business because I think they've got their squad as well. I don't think Spurs will do any business because they've got no bloody money. Arsenal might do a bit of business, and I think United might do a bit of business, but I think Chelsea will. But I think that's reflective of where those 3 clubs are. Liverpool and Manchester City know they're in the Champions League next year, and they know they're in a title race. And we've seen in the past, I've said this before, I remember Newcastle when they were clear at the top, 12 points clear at the top, I think they were in January. And they went and bought David Batty and Faustino Asprilla, who at the time were 2 of the better players in world football. And it disrupted their squad and they blew the title. And United nicked it. There you go. But I don't see Man City and Liverpool doing business now because the January transfer window is a little bit desperate. It always has been. And they can wait till the summer and see what happens. Richard Dixon says you could get Manolas and Lozano for 80 million. Exactly. We're Manchester United are a football club that like to not spend a lot of money. Centre back and right wing position solved for 80 million quid. In today's market, it would be ridiculous. Lozano and Manolas, go and do it. That's what I say. But United, Arsenal, and Chelsea are 3 clubs that are underachieving in relation to where they want to be. I mean, Arsenal have been doing that for 15 years. United for 6. Chelsea, obviously, recently. Bit of a yo-yo club. They win a title and then they miss out on top 4. But all 3 of those clubs want Champions League football next year. And all 3 of those clubs are not guaranteed of it. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Spurs, Man City and Liverpool will get top 4. So you've got Chelsea, Arsenal and United going for 1 spot. Chelsea obviously are in the best position at the moment. United and Arsenal playing catch-up. So I expect all 3 of those clubs to make signings because the difference between Europa League and Champions League is worth making a signing in January. Where do I think United are going to do it? I do have a feeling that maybe United will look at Memphis Depay. I've always felt that. I don't believe the Douglas Costa rumours at all. I'd love United to be in on the Lozano deal, but I've not heard that United have been linked to Lozano for a number of years now, so I don't think that. Arsenal, well, I mean, where do Arsenal improve? They probably need another centre-back, don't they? And potentially a midfielder. Aaron Ramsey is going to go to Juventus, is the big rumour, but, he's been putting in the shift for Chelsea over the last few games, to be fair, very professional. And Chelsea are obviously looking at wide players because Willian's not pleasing the old Chelsea faithful, and Hazard can't do it all on himself. I mean, to be honest with you, I think Chelsea need a centre-forward. Watch the Leicester highlights, watch the Southampton highlights. They dropped 5 points in those 2 games at home. And I think if they had a number 9, they would have took those 5 points and be in a much more comfortable position in the top 4. Arsenal should sign DT, says EB. Oh, yeah, he's a fantastic player. Hazard is off to Madrid, says Moada. 100%. 100%. I think he's going there. Real Madrid need a star, and Bale's not going to be that star. Liverpool, Man City. My reaction to that yesterday, just very, very quickly, because I am on That's Football. We did do the watch along for it. I think that in the relation to the title race, it was a good result. I don't think it does a massive amount of damage to Liverpool. I think they could have won the title last night, but I don't think they're out of the title race. They're still favourites. 4 points is a good gap. If you look at the next three fixtures for City and Liverpool, I think both of them are going to take 9 points, which takes you into February, and you're a month closer to May. So Liverpool are definitely in pole position. Man City have given themselves a chance. I think the daunting thing for City is that they've got De Bruyne, Silva, and Fernandinho back. They've got Sane back playing well, Sterling on the other side, and Aguero, and they've got good subs. I don't see City losing many games between now and May. So the challenge for Liverpool is to do the same. I think Klopp made a mistake yesterday. Fabinho should have started. I think you get your best feedback from rivals. As a United fan over the last few years, I've seen people wanting us to keep Mourinho, which is a big sign that we should have got rid of him sooner. And I've seen people wanting us to keep Fellaini because he's crap. From looking at Liverpool yesterday, I think Klopp kept faith and loyalty with his old midfield from last season that got them to the Champions League. But I think they're a little bit past it now. He's got to get Fabinho involved. I don't know about Keita. I don't think Keita's hit the levels people thought yet. But I think that Fabinho should have played, and they improved with that. And interestingly enough, I think Liverpool's best tactic in the last sort of half an hour was to put crosses in the box. The goal was from a sort of like a lofted cross into the box, and every time a decent cross went in, City looked susceptible. And I think Liverpool, their normal game, they couldn't play it yesterday. They sort of lost the midfield battle, but it was close. They're very close together. And if Liverpool win the title or not, and I know they're desperate to win it, but if they win the title or not, they should be very pleased with the gap they've closed on City, because last season, City were 20, 30 points ahead of most people. And this season, Liverpool are very, very close to them. So it's a big closing the gap from Liverpool to do that. And not a lot of people would have predicted that. But I think it's going to be an interesting title race there. United should get Malcolm, says Rems04. I mean, he's at Barcelona, isn't he, Malcolm? He's just not worked out at all. I think he'll end up at Arsenal. That's where Barcelona rejects normally go. Goldbridge, do you watch Luther 800 Sport? I've never watched it. Apparently, it's very, very good. Carrasco's been linked to United. I mentioned him at lunchtime on the United stand. Obviously, bored in China now, making a load of money at 25. I just question any player that goes to China in their mid-20s, really. I think it's a mindset that it's not really... I just don't get it, to be honest with you. Chuck us your questions, though. As I said, That's Football. Do subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Going to be doing a lot more of these sort of things, watch-alongs throughout the year, more generic stuff. I enjoy it, so we are going to do it. And as going back to the sort of headline, really, concerning if you're not a Chelsea fan and you like Lozano, that it looks like Chelsea might be about to pull off their second big deal in a week. Irving Lozano not with PSV on their tour. Personal circumstances is the reason. Chelsea heavily linked to a £35 million bid, which would be fantastic for them. I mean, look, I think with Pulisic and Lozano, there's an element of risk. If they were coming to United, I wouldn't say give us back the Premier League title. They'd both have to adapt. They've both still got development there. So I'm not saying that by any stretch of the imagination. But what I am saying is that they're both good signings. And to get both of them, I think if you'd said to me 3 or 4 months ago, United are going to sign Pulisic and Lozano in January, I'd have been very excited. So Chelsea fans should be very excited if they can pull that off. I wouldn't take Perisic now, Max Farm. I think he's too old now for what United need to be doing. Do you think Hazard has the output to succeed at Madrid? 25 to 30 goals a season, says Mr. A. I think in a better team, Hazard will score more goals. And I think Hazard wants to do that. I think Hazard wants to try himself out at one of the biggest clubs in the world. And I think he will do that. Rabiot will go to Barcelona. I think that's pretty much nailed on. And Dybala. I always feel that Dybala will go to Spain. I do. I really do. That's just my feeling on it. My first choice right winger, if I could get them, legend 27 at United, it probably would be Lozano. I'm not going to lie. I mean, this could be the second time this has happened to me in 8 months. We were linked to Fabinho. He signed for Liverpool. And I did a video saying I really want Fabinho. I spoke about Lozano on the United Stand Transfer Daily the other day. A couple of days later, he's nearly at Chelsea. So it's like I can't. Lozano was the player that I sort of wanted as the right-sided player. So I can't lie about it. I can't lie about it. If Chelsea get him, I think he's a really good signing for Chelsea. And United, we should be worried about that because we want Chelsea's spot in the top four. So, yeah. I mean, will Sancho come back to England? I think he will. Jadon Sancho, currently rocking it up in Dortmund. I think he will come back to England. He may go via Real Madrid or Barcelona because I'm not joking about the kid. I think he, if he was playing in Germany and he was German, people would be saying, is this guy the next Messi? He's not on that level, but because he's English, I don't think he's getting the sort of love he deserves. He's doing fantastic things. And, you know, the German league is a bit of a pub league, but he's done it in big games as well. So, fantastic player. I don't know whether he'd come to United. Obviously, he was at City. Would he go back to City? Does City have a first refusal? I don't know. Is Chong finished? Well, it's a bit of a United question, that, but I think Chong needs to play for United. Anvesh says Skriniar or Koulibaly. I'd go Koulibaly, yeah. I think Koulibaly would be my number one choice for United as a centre-back. Or anybody who wants a centre-back. I think he is the best available centre-back in the world at the moment. When I say available, he's got a move in him. You know, Van Dijk's not got a move in him. He's at Liverpool, isn't he? Ramos and Varane haven't got a move in them. They're at Real Madrid. Doesn't mean they won't move, but they're sort of at the place they need to be at. So available centre backs who've probably got a step up move in them. Koulibaly, Manolas, Skriniar. They've all got a move in them, I think. And to me, I think Koulibaly's the number one at the moment. Do Liverpool need to upgrade Lovren, says Eden Wolf? No, I don't think they do. I just think they're unlucky with injuries. They've got Matip, they've got Gomez. I mean, Gomez has been fantastic, and Matip, it looks quite good. They're just, unfortunately for Liverpool, last night they've got to play Lovren because he's their fourth choice centre back, and he is the Liverpool Phil Jones, and he was at fault for the Aguero goal. There's similarities between Phil Jones and Lovren. They do get game time for their clubs, and they've got really good centre backs next to them who I feel sorry for. If United don't do any business, would you be disappointed, Pankaj? I'd be as disappointed as Arsenal fans and Chelsea fans. You know, we're playing catch up. And Spurs fans, I don't think you're going to sign anybody, but I think you'd like to, because we are playing catch up on Liverpool and Man City. And I'm a firm believer that you need to use these transfer windows wisely. I really do. Jermaine Defoe to Rangers, Mark Hill. Thanks for that. Yeah, if you want to chuck in some transfers that I've not spoken about, so I want to do a few more of these on That's Football. So smash a like if you're enjoying it and subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. I think Defoe's a good sign for Rangers. Look, I mean, I grew up, FA Cup third round tomorrow. I got excited this afternoon. I tweeted about it. And then I did say, look, it's a shame that the FA Cup's become what it's become. Because when I was growing up, the FA Cup was the number one tournament in the world. An FA Cup third round day was amazing. You'd be watching Match of the Day, hoping for a giant killing. And if you got an FA Cup final day was massive. And it's been belittled over the years, the FA Cup. And United have contributed to that. And I love the romance of the FA Cup. And I love it. I'm still getting nostalgic about it. But to be honest, it is nostalgia. And the same is for the Scottish League. The old Rangers-Celtic thing used to be really good. I really hope Rangers can get back to what they were before. I really do hope they can. And Rangers getting Defoe, he's a good striker for them. But I still think the gap is going to be too much for them. Balotelli's linked with Newcastle. I don't know whether that's going to happen or not, but he'd certainly give Newcastle... I mean, it's a bit of a weird one because United have just played Newcastle and I've seen them firsthand, and Rondon's quite a good striker. So you're gonna drop Rondon for Balotelli? I think Newcastle have got other areas they need to look at, to be honest. Inter Milan interested in Antonio Valencia, according to Tancredo Palmerdi. I forget his name. Sky Italia. United need to get rid of Valencia. Garth Crooks put him in BBC Team of the Week. Unbelievable. You know, you're normally proud when one of your players get in Team of the Week, but when the worst player on the pitch gets in the Team of the Week, you think, oh, that's just not good, is it? It's not good at all. What about Douglas Costa? I don't think he will leave Juventus, to be honest with you. I really don't. Tammy Abraham moved to Wolves from Chelsea is off, says Douglas James Horn. So Tammy Abraham is a player, if you're playing Football Index, which you can do through the United Stand Transfer Daily, we've got the link in the video description of that. He's a player I would get on. He's doing very, very well at Aston Villa, on loan from Chelsea. Don't see him getting any game time at Chelsea. I don't want him to turn into Bamford. I mean, Bamford was the same. Chelsea bought him very young from Forest. He went on loan around a lot of championship clubs. He scored a lot of goals and never got a chance, and now he's never going to get a chance in the top leagues. Tammy Abraham obviously did well for Swansea last year. He's doing very well for Villa. He needs to be playing for a Premier League club, and I hope that Wolves can resurrect that deal, because there's no point in being... There's so many Chelsea players who've been loanees and it doesn't work. They never get given a chance. So, yeah. Gary Cahill to Arsenal, says Brenner Bomb 64. Well, at least it's not United. Wolves have... I will talk about Wolves, Adve, because I said on this channel in the summer, Wolves will be in the top 8. And they've disappointed me, Wolves. They've shown results where they can be in the top 8, but then they've shown results which really surprise me. They've lost games at home to teams you wouldn't expect them to, but then they've won games and got points where I did expect them to. So I think Wolves, maybe it's an adjustment season. They still need a little bit of investment. But I'm surprised with Wolves. I thought they would have done better. I mean, they're not going to go down, but I thought they were going to do a little bit better, to be honest with you. Good bit of business for Liverpool to sell Solanke for 20 million. Pep Guardiola says, your thoughts on Danny Rose? I don't rate Danny Rose. I've never really rated him. I don't rate him, to be honest with you. Titty to United, says Jack Clark. I think that was a year ago we were talking about that. Wolves haven't lost against the top 6, says Alex. Yeah, it's the points they've dropped elsewhere where they've struggled. Mark, thoughts on Hudson Odoi to Bayern Sancho? I mean, he's a Chelsea player. German football teams don't seem to be lost on hoovering up some good English talent at the moment. And where English teams seems to be struggling is promoting that English talent. There's some really good young English talent out there at the moment. Chelsea have got a lot of it, and they struggle to promote it. Same at Man City. They've got a lot of it. They don't promote it. United and Liverpool, I think they do a good job. Arsenal seem to have regressed. They used to do a lot of it, but there's some really good young players out there. And if he goes to Bayern Munich and starts playing games, great. I hadn't heard about Malcolm to Everton, Clements Davies, but that would be a decent signing. I think that'd be a decent signing for Everton at this point, yeah. I'd go with that. I'd have a little bit of that. Damn it, United missed out on Klein, says Zakiv. I love the sarcasm. Milenkovic-Savicin is having a bad season, Vishnu. I wouldn't go near him, to be honest. Dembele would cost us a lot. Andreas Pereira could go to Arsenal. You're right, Stretched. If Andreas Pereira doesn't play for United tomorrow, then I think he's going to leave this month. He can leave for free in the summer. And if he's not getting game time for United, then he's going to go. And I think Arsenal might well look at him. Andres Pereira, I think he's 22, 10 million quid, or wait till the summer and get him for free. FIFA's going to be back on Monday at 1 o'clock. So there you go. FIFA will be back. I need to play it a little bit anyway. I've got a couple of challenges coming up. Expressions wants to play me for the Spurs preview. Sophie wants to play me, and I haven't played for 2 weeks, so I need to get back on the bus. Steve Bruce is going to be Sheffield Wednesday manager. He'll always get a job. He's like Pardew, always going to get a job. Fosu Mensah deal has been terminated so that Cahill can go on loan to Fulham. So yeah, that looks like it has happened. I think he needs to get himself a decent loan move and start performing, Fosu Mensah, to be honest with you. Football Manager will be coming up next week as well, Peanut King. I'm just getting my head around it. It's pretty big. Pretty big. Biggest transfer so far, Scribble, the United. Well, it's got to be Pulisic, hasn't it? When do I think United will sign someone, Carl? I think it's a long transfer window. We've got 3 weeks. I think we will sign somebody in the next 3 weeks. That's all I can say. Musa Dembele to China, says Asmail Ali. It's a shame. I mean, I really like Musa Dembele. But he has been linked with China before, and it's a big payday for him, and he's in his early 30s. Ndidi to City, says AS Jammer. That would annoy me. I really do rate him. I think he'd be a good signing for United as well. Isco, I think, is more likely to go to City because of Pep. But I think it could be a really interesting January transfer window. Chelsea with the early running, Pulisic and Lozano, they're not your typical January signings. I know Pulisic is going to go back on loan, but they're not. Lozano's not. That's more a summer signing, so it could prompt some other teams to get in there, and I hope it does. But please do smash a like on the video, everybody. I'm going to do more of these on here, so make sure you subscribe, get involved with That's Football, and enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'll be on the United Stand at 8 o'clock tonight live as well.